Welcome to this season of Deen Talk. This is season 3. I'm Fajr, one of the 4 co-hosts. Yes, we've been making some amazing changes this season, and let's introduce some of the co-hosts.
Hi, my name is Fatimah and I'm a junior in high school.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Hamza Ahmed and I'm a sophomore in high school.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Omer and I'm a freshman in college. Deen Talk is still going to be a global platform for youth to stand up, be heard, and share what's important to us.
Last season we got a little bit off track and most of our topics were for a more mature audience. This season we're going to gear our topics to a younger audience.
So this season we've decided to change up the format a bit. We're getting back on course and staying true to the essence of what Deen Talk started out as, which is to be a stage for teens and young millennials to speak on issues that are important to us and also talking about what's trending.
Deen Talk is now a 30-minute show. We're streaming all the way live to you all, and you guys will be in real time we're going to be taking real-time questions from Facebook and Twitter. Each of us will bring one topic that's important to us for the floor of discussion. We're not experts, so please don't expect us to be experts in the things we're talking about. We're not here to bring world peace, but we also want you guys to say what is important, so we want to hear from you. So stay tuned. After this message from our sponsors, we'll get started.
No, stop, man. What are you doing? Donating to Islamic Relief does not make you a superhero.
Actually, yes, it does.
Okay, yeah, I guess it does. I don't get this place anymore. It doesn't make any sense.
So to start off our discussion today, we're going to start with the EU and what's been going on in Europe over the course of the past few weeks. Jean-Claude Juncker, who is the EU High Commissioner, recently told the EU in a gathering, or their State of the Union, that his vision for the EU is to have it as a unified union, or a federalist interpretation of what the EU is. Now, the real question about that is, what does that mean for immigrants that are coming into the countries and the cities that are in EU? And what does that mean for Muslims at large? Because a lot of the discussions that have been happening in the EU are somewhat conservative to what an interpretation of new religions and new cultures mean to those people in Europe and in the West overall. So, and especially that's a real big concern, because England, which was one of the most largest populated countries with Muslims and also has a Muslim mayor in London that has spoken out against certain actions taken by conservative voices in England, has pretty much left the union. So what does that really mean for Muslims? And what does that mean for other immigrants that are coming in from the East?
So just to clarify, what the EU is trying to do is kind of make it a federalist, so it'll be all like kind of like a United States of the European Union. So they want to make it all under like centralized government.
I mean, this is something that's being really disputed, but that's what Jean Juncker, who is the commissioner, really wants EU to become.
Okay.
So that could be something that happens in the future.
All right, so based on that, if they do get that, like how would that affect the Muslim population there? Like what would that do you guys think? Like what would that?
I'm not even really sure that this could possibly happen, because think about the logistics. Like, how would you get all of these countries to agree that, one, that they should all be united, especially considering like Brexit and everything. They don't even want to share the same currency anymore. you'd have to bring all the country leaders together to agree on this, and then every single country has a different standpoint on Muslim immigration and whether the representation of Muslims is even legal. Like, you can't have niqab in France anymore, so it's like, is this even really possible that it's going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's a good hope, but it's just like, I guess we have to continuously watch to see what will happen.
Right.
So something interesting I was thinking of actually right now is Turkey. Do they count them part of the EU? Because that's a really big Muslim country. So is that going to be a part of the EU?
What Juncker has said over the course of this discussion, as well as others, is that Turkey will not be currently included in the EU. And it's really interesting because Turkey is kind of like a quasi European / Muslim state. Like they're in the middle, and so they don't really belong anywhere. And because they're more of a very important voice for Muslims, especially because they've taken action for human aid and support. So that's also a question: is Europe really uniting against Muslims, or is it uniting against, or is it trying to become more unified? Because it seems as though they're not letting Turkey become part of these discussions because it's somewhat different.
So do you think that's maybe one of the reasons that Britain left the EU, because they have a majority Muslim population and they wanted to include the Muslims, and that's what the EU is getting rid of now?
I don't really know, but that's a really interesting standpoint, Omer. I didn't consider Turkey or not, but that does bring in a different point of view. I mean, if we're really thinking about the intentions, I guess it does come down to, is it really about unifying all of Europe if they don't include Turkey?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a very interesting standpoint. And again, it comes down, what are they really thinking? What is their motives, behind this whole movement?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, again, we're not trying to, solve a world problem or anything like that, but I think it's really important to think about these things, especially what's going on in Europe, because this is another really important Western voice. And because the United States has been, working with Europe, and also Europe has been very strong in its certain opinions, and it's taking a forward movement in industrialism and green energy and all these things, it's very important to look at what's coming out of Europe as a think tank. And I think that's why it's really important to focus on it, especially as Muslims in America and Muslims in the West. We have to realize what kind of voices and what kind of people are speaking out about these issues. And I just want to keep an eye on it and just make sure we know exactly what Juncker is saying and what the EU Parliament is also talking about. So that's why I think it's really important to bring this stuff up.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah. So another problem that's going around in the world, shifting now to the Middle East, is that this year Hajj was a couple of weeks ago, right? And we all had our Eid and everything, and it was really fun. But not for the people in Qatar. Over there, a lot of people, they had the problem that they weren't allowed to go to Hajj this year, which was a really big problem. And that all started in June, actually. So basically what happened was that the people in Emirates, they hacked the Qatar people and the Qatar government, and they posted terrorist ideals on their government official websites. And what that led to was all of the Middle East started believing that Qatar was affiliated with these terrorist groups, and Saudi Arabia completely cut off all ties with Qatar. And upcoming, when Hajj was coming, they wanted to the Qatar people wanted to go to Hajj, of course, and Saudi Arabia never replied to any of them because they had severed all ties. So what that created was kind of no communication between them. So upcoming to Hajj, there was 1 week left when finally the king of Saudi Arabia said, okay, we'll let them come in. And he paid for all of their trips and did everything. But what I was kind of thinking is, why were they making Hajj such a political thing? Why were they doing this when Hajj is something that is important to all Muslims and is a pillar of our faith?
I mean, it's a safety threat. All these people are going to be at the same place, and they're all going to be together in one area. If there was reports of terrorist attacks going to be at Hajj, I would, as if I was a world leader, do my best to prevent that from happening. I think it's a bit extreme to take an entire country of people and say that you're not allowed to go to Hajj, especially when it is one of the 5 pillars. But at the same time, I can understand, and I think he is sorry, because he did end up paying for everyone who did want to come into Hajj from Qatar to take their Hajj. So I think it's solved. I mean, is this going to continue on, or was this just a 1 week pass?
So there's still a lot of embargoes on Qatar, their trade is all cut off. It was only for Hajj that they allowed the Qatar people to come in. So basically they still have these 13, 13 things that they want Qatar to do before they let them start trading again. One of them is to cut ties with Iran, because that's a very big Middle East country there that supports terrorism, that they say, but they want them to start cutting ties with them. So that's a very big problem that they're having there.
Wow. I feel like, well, that's interesting, but I feel like that's also a system of control. Like, you know, you're really controlling a different country, whatever they're saying it may be. I think we're always marginalized, even here in America as Muslims, and you're like, well, I'm just going to school or something, but it's like, well, this is what happened on 9/11. So it's just like, I feel like the same targeting is being done there as is done here, and you're like, we're not all like that. So like the bystanders or people that are not even involved are suffering from these new rules. So I think it needs to be relooked at, and then like Allah says everybody has the right to go to Hajj. So that's unfortunate that these terrorist attacks or mentionings are happening, because it's depriving people that really want to go to Hajj that's just in that area just because of their location.
What concerns me is that, I mean, why is it even being used as a bargaining chip in a way? And the thing is, like, you just mentioned how Hajj is, you know, part of our 5 pillars, and it's a right that we have.
Yeah.
And in a Muslim setting, it's almost a human right that we all should have. And there's different regimes and, you know, nations within the Muslim world, even in Asia, that can be argued to be supporting these certain groups. But how does that represent the whole demographic? And what does it mean for the people that have been spending their whole life saving up for, you know, Hajj and Umrah and trying to get to this place? So I think that there should be a large amount of emphasis placed on, you know, the burden and the responsibility of actually basically the Saudi Arabian government is there to facilitate and make it as easy as possible for Muslims to go to Hajj. And they have their own vetting processes, they have their own resources, they also have their own visa processes, which require funding and require more money than what usually was. So with all those different measures in place, is first of all, is terrorism, are they trying to allocate against terrorism because they already have measures to prevent it? Or are they trying to, prevent a whole nation in a bargaining chip manner to prevent itself from coming to Hajj? And I think until we figure that out, we have to, recognize that we need to understand exactly why they've done this. And if it's political, then I think it's wrong.
So basically, I guess what we're trying to say is that Hajj is something that everyone is allowed to do and should be allowed to do, no matter what the political environment is at that time. So we should all try to support going to Hajj and having our faith on our shoulder. We should always be able to express ourselves in our faith no matter what. So after the break, we will start discussing some more stuff, and see you after, inshallah.
Good little guy. What are you doing? Did you know when you donate? Oh, good little guy. What are you doing? Did you know when you donate to Islamic Relief USA, we hand deliver a cat to your door? No, we don't do that. Yes. Yes, we do. No, pretty sure that's not in the budget. Well, when you donate to IRUSA, it gives you a warm and fuzzy feeling helping somebody in need, like a widow in Ethiopia or orphan in Afghanistan. And that's like having a kitty. Okay, I guess that's true. Aw, now kiss. I don't like this part.
Ready? One. Welcome back to Deen TV. I guess I'm going to start with my topic. I really enjoyed this week because I realized there's a lot of new Muslim representation in the media, especially considering one of our now top models, I'd like to say. Her name is Halima Adin, and she's a Somali American model. She signed with IMG, which is the same company that does a lot of our top models, like Gigi Hadid and her sister. It's like a very big deal, and we're seeing her in Nike advertisements and in a lot of makeup advertisements. She was in the Rihanna Fenty line. I think it's really great.
that we can look up to and
Absolutely.
tell us that we can be normal too. You
That's
know?
right.
Not necessarily normal in that respect, but like we can be part of society and be ourselves and express ourselves in society.
Right.
So I think that's what she represents.
One.
25.
Welcome back to Deen TV, and I guess I'm going to start off with my topic. I'm really excited this week because I'm seeing a lot of Muslim representation in the media now. There's been Muslims on TV shows, specifically like The Bold Type, even The Cut. There's been Muslims all over the media, and it's really encouraging to see because when I was growing up, I didn't have a Muslim role model to look up to besides like Malcolm X, etc., or like important faith leaders. I never had like a TV role model to like look at and be like, hey, I could totally be her or something like that. It's different here in America because I know in Indonesia you can see hijabi women everywhere and like competing for things, but in like sports. But in here you don't. In America and in Europe, you don't really see a lot of hijabi role models or Muslim role models in general.
I agree. I think it's something, a new generational wave. What I kind of predicted with going back to the whole Trump election was I think the country will come together more than ever. I think we started to celebrate our differences as a country as a whole. So I think that's really beautiful. And it's great to see us all there supporting each other. I think that's the main thing. But again, you're enlightening new children to go after what they want and like not having to feel they have to compromise. A good, interesting thing, what you were saying also, talking about even the dress, like Nike's coming out with the new hijab sportswear. So it's like we can confidently wear hijabs in sports if you are a hijabi. And because I used to play basketball, I used to like just get a rag and stuff and tie it up. So now I got like a real Nike official thing. So it feels good. It feels good to be celebrated.
So like before you were talking about the media, and I was actually just looking through my feed, and I saw that the new Miss Marvel for Marvel Comics is
heard
actually
that.
some girl
Yeah,
from
that's
Pakistan.
awesome.
So I found that really interesting, and it's just subhanallah how everything's just popping up now. Muslim representation everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome, and as Muslim youth, we need role models and people that can, we can be confident in society. So this is a really good way to do it, and I think that people are really taking the step forward. And these people, they had a hard time, I'm sure, getting to that point and getting Twitter followers or having to deal with a lot of the bigotry that goes along with our age.
Yeah.
And it's really admirable that they've done that. And I think that talking about like Malcolm X and stuff like that, these people are also embodying that attitude of being strong individuals, and like Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, that are also part of this whatever it is called, culture, fashion, sports, and they're also showing their religion and expressing that as well. And that embodies that the attitude of Muslim Americans that Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali were. They did a lot of stuff, but they also showed character while doing it. And that's very important to show our youth that you can be Muslim, you can be an athlete, or you can be an actor, or you can be all these things. So I think it's really awesome, and it's really exciting, and it's really fun to see how these people are talking, and also like just to see feeds with Muslims. And
I agree. And this summer, to backtrack of just being in the media, I had the opportunity to go to Los Angeles, LA. Where I'm at LA right now, and we had a BET award ceremony. So like they had BET Live. So I was part of the media team for Equality for Her. Equality for Her is an organization that like inspires women to be their best and like shows them doing great things in the limelight. And when I went to the BET experience, it was amazing. Like a lot of celebrities were there. I went to the celebrity basketball game. I saw Chris Brown and Trevor Jackson and all these great people, the game and everything. But I was a hijabi there, and there was this pool party, and I went like with my hijab and everything. And like one of the actors like just came over there, was like, hey, and I was like, oh hey, So it was just great to be myself, represent who I am, and still like have fun. Everybody was like, how is she getting to talk to them? I'm like, Allah right there, because I don't know. But it's just like I was just happy to represent myself as a Muslima and be respected and still part of the whole culture.
It's really cool.
Someone specific who does that, her name is Halima Adin. She's a Somali American Muslim, I believe. She's actually an immigrant. She just got signed by IMG, which is a really big modeling agency. They signed Gigi Hadid and her sister. They've signed all the big names, to be honest. And she actually wore her hijab throughout her entire journey of becoming a model.
Beautiful.
So
yeah, I think that's really awesome, and that's the biggest launch just now. Just got launched, Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. This has been all across the world, globe. Everybody's hitting this on. You got the Trophy Wife highlight, all these different products that all the world is loving. I was looking at one of Rihanna's interviews, and she said that she wanted this line to cater to all women across the world, different skin tones, and I think that's important because, again, I think from a generational beauty, it's like only one skin tone or stuff like that. So she has 40 different shades representing different types of colors throughout the whole world. So I feel like everybody on the globe feels like they're part of it, and that's why it's very successful. Piggybacking off of what you were talking about, Halima, one of our very own Muslim Americans is on the line. She looks so lovely and beautiful. And I think the biggest thing that's so amazing about her representation on there is just giving young children the opportunity to be themselves unapologetically. She didn't have to compromise, take off her hijab to be on Rihanna's Fenty line. I think that's why Rihanna chose her, because she was unapologetically herself, and that she caters to a whole big audience. I think it's also a great business move. All of us Muslims are going to be watching it, so we're going to want to definitely be like, I want to be a part of that. She supports Muslims. I'm definitely going to buy this line. I don't know if you guys know Deen Tokyo, Yasmin, all these great YouTubers, Habiba, are doing Fenty line makeup tutorials. So like all these Muslimas are now on this, and I think it's just a good representation of just being unapologetically yourself.
Yeah, subhanAllah. Everyone, like, you don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be the engineer. You can do whatever you want now. And it's not, you can be a doctor if you want, but do what, like, you really want to do. don't just sit there and be like, oh yeah, your religion will never inhibit you from doing anything.
That's
It
right.
should be able to kickstart you and make you go forward and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like as you said before, you were able to talk to all those actors because you wore your hijab.
Mashallah.
So
Yeah.
it's just all
So-
around.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I think that's really awesome, just being yourself. And I think that just how you were talking about earlier about Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, like having that courage of faith, you know what I mean? You don't have to compromise your faith. Allah will take care of that. Allah will make a way.
Right.
You know, as long as you do your part, there will be another part. And now the world gets to see our beauty in this light.
And what's really cool about it is that they don't have to become someone for that. And they're showing Muslim youth that you don't have to be anyone but yourself in a way. Like, I know it's kind of like, people say it a lot, it's kind of cliche, but when you really embody that, and these characters and these people that are on Twitter and you know, on these makeup lens that I have no idea, you know, exactly what they refer to, but you know, that's really awesome because they're telling youth, everyone, everywhere, that, you know, we have 40 lines because we know that you are yourself, and we need to help you become yourself and make sure that you're expressing yourself as yourself.
That's
and
right.
so that's what Muslim youth need, because we're so diverse and so culturally, you know, we're really diverse in that way. So I think that's why this is really important, because all these different cultures and these understandings, they're all, you know, really showing that, you know, we're connected by this Muslim identity, but we're also really capable of being ourselves.
All right. Yeah, I agree. So now we will head to commercial and see you soon.
Down for you, and in time you will too. And if you don't mind, can you tell me all your hopes and fears and everything that you believe in? Would you make a difference in the world? I'd love for you to take me to a deeper conversation. Only you can make me deeper conversation.
All around the world, Islamic Relief is finding solutions to poverty. To donate, call now or visit us online. Islamic Relief, solutions you can believe in.
Welcome back, everybody. So now we're going to be taking questions from all of you that are viewing this right now. One of the questions that we have is, who are your favorite online Muslim personalities?
Oh.
Anyone want to start?
Well, my favorite online Muslim personality is probably Dina Tokyo, because she was the first Muslim woman that I've watched on YouTube, and I like watched her progress. Like I watched her have like her kid and get married. It's like awkward, but like she put it out there for me to watch.
That's awesome.
She started her own business by herself. That's like my kind of vibe.
She's huge. Yeah, and then also like her whole hijab styles is all different. Like she ties it up, turban style, all around. So she's very, very unique in that way. For me, my favorite person right now that's in the media that's Muslim is Blair Imani. She's stationed in New York, and she just actually walked on New York Fashion Week this week. And I talked about her earlier. She started her own organization called Equality for Her. So she's doing some great things in our community. So I really look up to her, and I'm proud to like know her and her being a representation for us all.
So honestly, mine has to be Brother Abdul Malik. He's taught me so much. He's everywhere. He's my martial arts teacher. He's taught me so much, and I've known him for a really long time, and it's been honestly a great experience with him for a very long time.
So for me, like I'm not, okay, to be honest, I'm not someone that uses a lot of Twitter or a lot of that kind of media, but I do keep up with a lot of. I like Mayor Sadiq Khan, who's from who's the mayor of London. I think his story's really cool. He was a civil rights lawyer, and that's something I really want to go into law. But I really connect with him because he's someone that is from a community, and he's really trying to step up his game. And he's one of the shining lights of England right now. He's really on the national stage, and he's doing a great job at being a mayor of the city. He's really dealing with a lot of the different things that go on in London. It's such a big city, and a lot of it's a hub. So it's really cool to see him post online and talk about different struggles that he's going through as a Muslim, but also about how he's dealing with all of these hardships of being a mayor of a city that has a lot of discourse going on, and it's very politically involved. So yeah, I think that's cool.
Awesome.
So honestly, all these people are really important, and they've brought so much to us, and they've been our role models, and what can we give back to them?
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't want to be too cliche, but the first thing when I got to like Deen Talk, I was like, Native Deen, like y'all really helped me with my Deen. Like when I was growing up, I used to listen to them so much, and like everything I did. So it's just great to see our representation, even before like Fenty Beauty, Halima and stuff. Like we've been having people making way for us, and to be confident. So I really appreciate
it's also really cool because I guess whenever it's like a conversation starter almost, because a lot of youth in America, like I was recently at, I had an opportunity to go meet with different youth from like California and Texas and all these places, and we all connected on Native Deen, and we had some like retro minna rap, like we had like a
for
little,
real. I know the
thing.
lyrics, everything.
Yeah, like we had we ended the whole intensive on a minna rap actually.
That's
and
awesome.
It was really cool. So cool. It's like a talk, and it's really cool because we have these different cues in American Muslim society now that we can really reach back to and really grab and bring them to the front stage. So we have these things that we can grasp to in society, and I think that's really cool.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I thank you guys for that beautiful question, and we are so excited for this new season, Deen Talk Season 3. All the co-hosts did wonderfully, so get to know us again. I'm Fajr. This is
Fatimah.
Hamza.
Omer.
And we hope to see you next time on Deen Talk.